Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. My name is Tara and this is my sister Cassie.
And every morning we come together to give you guys our thoughts and opinion on the crypto market. And wow, we made a big move yesterday. So we need to definitely update where we are because I think our plan has changed or updated a little bit. So we definitely need to get into the charts so this doesn't become an hour-long update here.
Yeah, so we have, we're going to be showing you what we think is going to happen next on Bitcoin and then also on Ethereum because the ETF was approved. And so we're going to show you what we think is happening on there. And it's going to be interesting to see how Ethereum reacts against Bitcoin here because Ethereum might steal the show because of that news and actually where it is on the charts and in the wave structure right now. So, and then XRP really holding the line very well considering this major drop on Bitcoin. So we have a lot to cover, so let's get right into it. So here we are on Bitcoin on the 4-hour time frame, and yesterday Bitcoin has come down and it's formed that last C wave of this correction, I believe. And this is something that Cassie and I have been going back and forth with all morning because we've never really planned how these updates are going to go when we don't really see eye to eye, because it's something that we really haven't planned. We really don't. There's going to be times when we're not going to see exactly the same things on the charts, and that's okay. Not everybody does. So I'm going to go in and show you guys what I think is going to happen next, and then kind of show Cassie why I believe that that's what's happening, and then we're going to see what Cassie thinks is happening as well. I'm getting zoomed into those subwaves. So yesterday, Bitcoin, like I said, came down and it lost that support at 67.8, and I had mentioned on Twitter that after it reached this 618 extension here, it really needs to come back up above that major level here at 67.8. You can see that it really is struggling to do so. So this 67.8 has turned into major resistance. When Cassie takes us in, you'll see really how choppy the waves are here. They're a complete mess. So it's really hard to determine any type of wave structure in this little bit right here. Because we are not back above that, I do believe that we still can come back down to this 66.4 again, or even possibly the 65.6. Cassie and I were mentioning that because this is starting to turn into a deeper retrace, we've mentioned to you guys for a while that we do need a wave 2 of our major wave 3 going up, which would come all the way down to around 62.4. During a wave 3, these retracements can get very bullish because on each of these retracements, there's a lot of people buying, which does keep it a little bit higher than a typical wave 2 retrace. So that's something that we have to watch out for. Typically, we will go through the subwaves with you on the way down so we know what to target. So that's what we're trying to do here. And just like I said, keep in mind, because we do have major support at 62.4, but right now these subwaves are kind of unclear really to determine if they are actually going to go that low. And so we kind of need a little bit more development, and like I said, to get back up above this level or even come back down and touch these levels again down here. Do keep in mind that these 618 retraces are right above and below this main 382 support here. This is something that we have to watch out for as well, is at 66.1. So that's what I'm going to be watching out for within the next couple of days, is really paying very close attention to the waves that form during this time here. And also, I just want to mention that this RSI, it did have a slight bullish divergence when it came down and hit that 618. That's why I believe that this was that 5th wave of wave C right here. You can see that this 618, that would have been the 3rd wave. That's about where we are right now at 67.2. So these are really falling in line pretty perfectly with the subwaves for wave C. However, overall, this is coming down into deeper correction levels. So that's something that we have to pay attention to. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be watching out for in the next couple of days. So let's have Cassie take us in further into the subwaves and give you a closer look at what's going on.
Okay, guys, so here we are on the Bitcoin 1 hour, and this is that subwave we were tracking in our last update. And we talked about it coming up to this high here as a potential pivot point and possible resistance for our wave B. And you can see that it did hit that resistance pretty perfectly and continued down into a larger correction. So we didn't get that that last little push that I was expecting. This has turned into a larger correction. I think this is our wave 2 now. Really, the wave 2 should form an ABC. So this could be, let me just mark this out because I think there's a few different ways this could be playing out. I think it could be looking like this, targeting this 0.5 area, like Tarja said, 66.1 is that 0.5 on my chart. And then we could be seeing a larger, more extended wave 2 looking something like this. Both of these are still in play. You can see this could be an ABC or this could just be a 5 wave forming this A. So really the difference would be up here at this 236 level, breaking this or not. So breaking this upward, just kind of like we did up here, where if we couldn't break that subwave B target, then it would come down. This is our larger B target now. Let me just make sure it's around there. Yeah. So our B target then, if we do come down to a perfect touch for this last wave now, to 66.1 would be up towards that 0.5, and that's at 69,000. So once we come down to our bottom here, or if we break up above that 69,000 without making a new low, then we can start to expect our larger wave 3 of 3, which would be pretty bullish. But I think that both of these are still in play. What do you think, Tar?
Yeah. I do think that B is going to be very critical, which is that 0.5 retrace coming back up. And it also depends on where we come down before it goes up for that B.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, like you said, I think both of these are in play. And because of where that, you know, the B that I'm tracking, that only reached that 0.5, but it could still be 2. It's still okay for a wave 2, like you're saying, of that wave A. So yeah, so both of these are still in play. And because the last waves that formed like last night were so choppy and so unclear, we really don't know yet exactly. We need
but what's interesting, Tar, is that if without making a new low, our 0.5 lands perfectly at that larger 236 at 69.2. But then if we do come down to a perfect 0.5 touch, it's still close, but it's not as nice as that alignment there. So this could be our bottom there.
And like I was just showing on my chart, it really could be done with this correction so far, because it did hit that 618 extension like pretty perfectly, but we just need to get back up above that 67.8, which it's been really struggling to do. It could, you know, that wave A that you have or that full ABC, it could be done. Honestly, it just needs to get right. It needs to get back above the resistance now in order for us to really determine. So
I guess another thing to point out too is then we wouldn't really be expecting resistance here then.
Yeah, not the 618.
To make sure that we don't head for our deeper correction here, like we just said, we just need to make sure we break above this 0.5 level, which right now is right at that 236 at 69,170 or 69,160. So if this is done, that's where we would break back up. If it's not, we'll resist there and probably head for lower correction levels.
And that all depends on where B goes. And so like we've mentioned to you guys before, this 0.5 level is that pivot fib. So anytime we're underneath it, it's going to still be bearish. When we flip above it, it's going to flip bullish. So that's a very key level to watch out for.
Yeah. I did actually get the extension targets. So this is our subwave 3. If we did complete here with our subwave 2, we would be looking up towards targets at 85,000 just for the subwave 3. So it's still a lot in line with our larger goal, our larger path.
Yeah. So what's the 618 on that wave 3 extension set? Because a lot, the 618?
Oh, the 618 what?
On that same set. Because a lot of times if you put the 618 on there, it tells you where the first wave of the wave 3. So
so this is where we were thinking it was going to go with our wave 5 top, remember?
Yep.
I honestly think that we had a failed wave 5 top. This is where wave 1 should have ended.
Yeah, it is. And clearly now we can see that because that's on the fib set for 3.
Yeah, so that's what we're expecting in the next day or so, to either come back down to this perfect touch of the 66 support, or coming back up to test that critical resistance for our potential wave B. This is on a larger trend up. So really the macro trend is up with this wave 3, we're just trying to track these subwaves of it, and this could be our larger wave 2, you can see here. So we're just trying to track this wave 2 coming down. You can see it's already close to the 0.5, which is a target for 2, but 2 could expect deeper levels as well, like you can see with our 3, or with our C there. So this is going to be a critical level to break, and our support down here. So that's what we're expecting in the next day or so.
Yeah. All right, let's get over to Ethereum then. Okay, so here we are on Ethereum on the 4-hour, and I just wanted to point out to you, Cass, that the 2618 on Binance was up a little bit from your level. I think you had it right here, which hit that perfect resistance right here. But when I measured it on Binance, it wasn't up until here, 39.14. And it looks like, I didn't even realize, but it looks like it just hit that a little while ago before that drop. So I do believe
it didn't just hit that. It was kind of a while.
Yesterday. Yeah, whatever.
Well, it's just 4 hours.
Yeah, and then so I do think this completed the third wave on Ethereum, and then it came down and hit that 382 already here at 25
Perfectly.
Or 35.32. Yep. And so now I think that wave 4 was complete on Ethereum. So I'm just going to get the 5th wave extension really quick so we know what to expect when it comes up. I'm just going to use this low down here, that high that the top of wave 3 made, and then include the entire retracement for this wave 4. And without putting the coordinates in, it's landing around 4,200. So this is what I think that we can expect on Ethereum when we come back up to make that new high. And like we've mentioned, or like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, it's going to be really interesting to see Ethereum really making this move up here and what Bitcoin is going to do at the same time, because it's really unclear if Bitcoin's correction is done yet because the waves are so messy. But Ethereum really is very clear. It's following all the waves pretty nicely, all the fibs. And so I do think Ethereum's going to come up to 4,200. I'm wondering if this is going to pull Bitcoin up with it, which is kind of the reverse of what usually happens. So that's something that I'm going to be watching for on Ethereum in the next few days or so. So let's have Cassie take us in further and give you a closer look at what we're expecting.
Okay, so here we are on the Ethereum 1 hour. This is that wave 3 top. So at first this was my target, and Tara was saying this was actually that 2618 on Binance. And then you can see this is that perfect 382 touch that it had. So this is looking good, and there really isn't much more to say other than what you've said.
Yeah, it's very clear on Ethereum.
Yeah, because this was just a wick, there is a chance that if we break back down, it could just come down to test here again.
Yeah.
Because this was just such a quick wick, but it doesn't need to again, because you can see it filled everything that it needed to fill. But if we do start to break down it, there's a possibility it could come here again and retest this level.
Yeah. So call out those prices?
Okay, the 382 retrace is at 3,528. It's already reached that, but it was really quick. It could start to come down and settle there. And you can see we are hitting this resistance on the RSI, but it's already hit the target levels that it needs to. So those targets that target for that 5th wave are still definitely valid.
Yeah.
If it breaks the 236 at 3,685 and starts to like make a new low, I think it's just going to settle again here.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And then it would still keep that wave 5 valid that Tara talked about. Yeah, it's hard to say because it went to the target, but it was just such a quick drop. I think
we know when it goes to the target right away, it could triangle out. So that could start to form on Ethereum is a larger triangle. All right, should we get over to XRP then?
Sure.
All right, let's do it.
XRP was crazy.
Oh, I know, because of the relisting, right?
Because it's at the end of a triangle.
Yeah, it's going to get really volatile.
Yeah.
It looks like a Swiss Army knife. Okay, so here we are on XRP on the 4-hour time frame. And yeah, so these wicks are just really crazy. And so I when it does something like this, I like to just really pay attention to the bodies of the candles. You can see that it is still trying to hold the line here. And compared to what Bitcoin has done, this has been holding up really well. We have this major support here at 515, which is still above. And then we have our next resistance at 53, which we've mentioned many times before. We still need to get back into that triangle and really test the supports before we can see like this major breakout. And really, so I mean, going off of the waves here, not much has changed. I was sent a few charts on Twitter, just people saying that XRP is going to come to a new low. I don't think XRP is going to be making a new low. I think it hit the target already at 48 cents. And considering where we are on this major, like on this larger scale, we're almost at that 786 retrace, which is a typical retrace for this wave 2, and it's holding there very well. So it is building very strong support on these support levels. And so, like I said, I don't believe that we are going to be making a new low on XRP. I think we're just going to continue sideways until that volume comes in and really breaks us out of this triangle. So let's just have Cassie zoom us in here further and give you a closer look at what's going on.
Here we are on the XRP 1 hour, and you can see just when we zoom in, you can see really how volatile this has been the last day. Each time that it wanted to go post a chart, it just like completely changed it.
Yeah.
So I think it had settled a little bit, but really, honestly, guys, this volatility like this is what is even more confirmation that we are almost done with this triangle. This is the volatility that you want to see at the peak of a triangle. So this is actually really getting me more excited just how crazy this has been, because as the triangle ends, the market will actually start to fold in on itself. And that's how you get these crazy moves like this. So like Tara mentioned, we did actually hold like pretty good support. This is the 382 retrace that it bounced off of. So still holding significant support here. Yeah, I think that we're just waiting, like Tara said, for our pushback out of here. But this is really good sign to me that we're getting really strong bounces like this, because this strong bounce will push us really fast out of this triangle any day now. Yeah, so there really isn't much more to be said. I think that we still have our strong resistances. We have our 53 cents that it's just about to head up and test right now. The top of the triangle, or I'm sorry, the bottom of the triangle right now is 53.7, and then the top right now is at 56. You know, with time, this is just going to become significant level just right at the median here at that 54 at the apex. There really, like Tar said, isn't much to be said. I think that we just need to make sure that we break back into this triangle. But I do not think that it's going to be making new lows. So I don't think that we'll even come down to this 48 here. Yeah. And then guys, look at this RSI channel, that even though we've had this extreme volatility, the RSI just remains really nice and steady bullish for now. So this is something that is really critical to track and hold on your chart. If you're really trying to track the bottom here for XRP, make sure you have this trend line here. This is on the 1 hour. You can see that even as we had these crazy moves, like even back towards 5 days ago, it's still holding this trend. So this is still looking okay, despite like all this crazy price movement. And it's actually what you want to see. So
yeah, we want to see price movement.
XRP. I think that, like I said, any day we could really start breaking out of here. So
yeah, it's getting close.
Yep.